Time does not wait for anyone. Life is pushed to its limits every day. A delayed decision can be the end. Here, no one truly controls destiny. Only nature delivers the final verdict. The sun reaches its zenith, casting its most brilliant and searing rays upon the surface of one of the planet's greatest arenas of life and death. This is the Maasai Mara, a primeval land, directly adjoining the Serengeti to form a vast transboundary ecosystem of over 580 square miles. Under the punishing heat that tests the very threshold of endurance, the once gentle rivers now slowly run dry, leaving behind a cracked, barren earth that stretches to infinity. Every creature seems to seek refuge, searching for a rare patch of shade from this great furnace, except for one resilient army. More than 1 million wildebeest are massing together, forming a colossal current of life, trudging relentlessly forward on exhausted legs. Each heavy hoofbeat on the arid ground is a defiant affirmation of vitality, echoing like nature's own heroic symphony. Amidst this chaotic sea of horns, the young follow closely at their mother's heels, their innocent eyes yet to comprehend the cruelty of the journey ahead. This is the Great Migration, one of the most spectacular and grand-scale migrations in the animal world. An endless journey begins anew, driven not by choice, but by the command of survival. Here, every step forward is a gamble with life and death. And every seemingly harmless thicket could be concealing a pair of hungry, cold eyes, watching the herd's every breath. Under the crucible of the Maasai Mara, the oppressive stillness of noon is an illusion. Hidden in the withered grass are phantoms the color of sand, lionesses. In the sapping heat, speed is not the ultimate weapon. Patience and coordinated teamwork are. A powerful wildebeest bull inadvertently steps back, separating itself from the protection of the crowd. In a single moment of carelessness, it is targeted. Silent, cold steps press against the cracked earth. "100 feet, 50 feet. The air thickens, breathless. And then, the biological spring is released. The lead lioness bursts from her cover. The terrified wildebeest bellows and bolts, kicking up clouds of red dust. But this is a perfect, inescapable trap. A second lioness rises slowly, cutting it off mercilessly from the right flank. There is no longer any path of retreat. The lead lioness makes a decisive leap, using her immense muscular mass to powerfully slam the victim to the ground. Jaws with the force of 1,000 pounds lock onto the throat, extinguishing the final struggles. As the red dust slowly settles in the hot wind, only the heavy panting of the pride beside their still prize remains. This is the raw price of nature. The death of one life is the extension of another under the African sun. As the Maasai Mara furnace drains all life, a solitary hunter's battle begins in silence. Atop a high termite mound, a masterpiece of nature observes quietly. The cheetah, the fastest terrestrial hunter on the planet. Every detail of its body is evolved for explosive speed. A deep chest, a flexible spine, and claws that never fully retract. Two black tear marks under its eyes act as natural anti-glare shields, helping it to see through the shimmering heat haze. Not far away, a herd of Thomson's gazelles grazes peacefully. The hunter slowly slinks down, its belly almost brushing the parched grass. To ensure victory, it must close the distance. But the savannah wind carries betrayal. A male gazelle pricks its ears, scenting death. Patience shatters. The cheetah explodes from its hiding place, accelerating to nearly 70 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. Each stride covers 23 feet, the biological machine seeming to fly across the fractured earth. But the Thomson's gazelle also bolts, launching defiant stotting leaps more than 6 feet into the air. The decisive moment. The cheetah stretches, delivering a devastating swipe to the prey's hind leg. The victim loses its balance, tumbling in a cloud of red dust. Sharp teeth immediately lock onto the windpipe. The race is over. The victor slumps, gasping, its energy utterly spent. It cannot begin its meal just yet. In the searing heat, the king of speed is at its most vulnerable. A single lion's roar, or a hyena's laugh, and the prize will be stolen in an instant. As the frantic pulse of the mortal chase subsides, the savannah settles into a more silent and mysterious dance of survival. Under the unyielding glare of the midday sun, a beautiful optical illusion moves slowly across the withered plains. A dazzle of plain zebras. Amidst the sparse, desiccated yellow-brown of the dry season, their starkly contrasting black and white stripes seem an absurd irony of creation. An attraction of attention so bold it borders on reckless, in a land with nowhere to hide. But millions of years of evolution have never produced a masterpiece without a profound reason. Drawing closer, thousands of black and white stripes intertwine, undulating rhythmically with every step. They create a chaotic visual matrix under the glaring sun that distorts the very air. No two individuals in all of Africa possess the exact same pattern. They function as unique social barcodes. With this, a small foal can still easily recognize and find its mother amidst the overwhelming sea of stripes. However, the greatest survival secret of this brilliant coat is aimed at a completely different enemy. An enemy so small as to be almost invisible, yet it spreads a death more silent and terrifying than the fangs of a lion or the speed of a cheetah. The tsetse fly. This blood-sucking insect carries lethal pathogens, a lurking terror for countless mammals in the Maasai Mara. But when faced with a herd of zebras, their deadly flying machines are completely neutralized. Under the intense equatorial sun, the surface of alternating black and white creates a miraculous physical phenomenon. It generates complex, polarized light patterns that reflect continuously into the air. To the compound eyes of the tsetse fly, this striped canvas becomes a profoundly disorienting optical system. It completely disrupts the navigation system of the bloodthirsty insect, causing it to lose direction, become dizzy, and fail to calculate a landing. A genius, defensive solution woven from light and shadow. A perfect, impenetrable optical armor. It demonstrates a deep truth of nature. In this fiery arena, sometimes the ultimate weapon appears in the most ostentatious guise. While other grazers suffer the torment of insects, the zebras stand placidly under the blazing sun. They calmly graze on the coarse grasses, perfectly safe inside their own invisible shield. As the mortal chases on the dry plains temporarily subside, the Maasai Mara reveals another, entirely different corner of its world. In the skies above the Maasai Mara, another world hovers, a constantly moving biological network. This is not only a haven for large mammals, but also a meeting point for over 470 magnificent species of birds. The riverine forests that form along the watercourses provide the moisture, shade, and abundant food needed to create a priceless oasis. Amidst the marshlands, a white figure appears in silence. It is the African spoonbill. In contrast to the raw clamor of the world outside, this creature performs a completely silent ballet of predation. It often stands patiently in water 4 to 16 inches deep. Under the heat rising from the water's surface, it advances slowly, continuously sweeping its open bill from side to side just beneath the surface. In this thick, murky environment, the bright sun cannot penetrate, and the sharpest eyes are rendered useless. It does not need to see its prey in the cloudy water. It feels them directly. For its uniquely spoon-shaped weapon is, in fact, a perfect tactile sensor. The slightest touch from a small fish or larva swimming by, and the bill trap snaps shut with inescapable speed. A blind hunting strategy, yet one of astonishing precision. Leaving the sweltering shallow marshes, let us turn our eyes back to the parched grasslands, shimmering under the heat haze. A great black form strides deliberately across the cracked earth, carrying the stately bearing of a creature from a prehistoric age. It is the southern ground hornbill, the largest of all hornbill species in Africa. Unlike its relatives that often soar among the high canopies, this creature has chosen the ground as its own hunting kingdom. Standing over 3 feet tall and cloaked in jet black plumage, it stands out defiantly against the sea of faded yellow grass. The bare skin around its eyes and on its throat is a vibrant red, pulsating with every breath in the searing heat. It is a powerful display of color, a visual warning to any who might dare to cross its path. Its most fearsome weapon is its enormous beak, black and sharp as a pair of steel pliers. Within the hard horn is a hollow, honeycomb-like structure, making the beak surprisingly light, yet capable of delivering a fatal blow. They take long, careful strides, their sharp eyes scanning every sparse patch of grass for prey. Without the need for tireless flight in the heavens, they quietly establish their dominance with steady footsteps on the arid ground. A primal and ruthless beauty, enduring right in the heart of the burning crucible. The rare, soothing interlude of these birds acts as an emotional way station amidst the endless cycle of survival. But nature in this land never allows any peace to last too long. The fragile tranquility of the arid noon cannot last forever. A shrill and savage sound suddenly rips through the suffocating air. It sounds like a peal of mad laughter, echoing from behind the withered grass. It is the signature rallying call of one of the most misunderstood creatures on the savannah. The spotted hyena. Under the fiery glare of the sun, a large clan of hyenas is tearing at the remains of a carcass. Contrary to the prejudice that they are mere cowardly scavengers, they are, in fact, formidable warriors with a strict matriarchal social structure. Under the ruthless command of the alpha female, the clan displays extreme muscular power and aggression. Their jaws are true biological crushing machines, possessing a terrifying bite force of over 1,000 psi. The fight for food is fierce, even within the clan itself. Threatening growls, sharp laughs, and warning snaps constantly erupt in a frenzied atmosphere. But hyenas are not the only ones to have scented this feast of death. High in the bright sky, Where thermal currents rise from the earth, huge dark shadows are circling silently. They are vultures. With wingspans stretching over 6.5 feet, they patiently ride the columns of hot air without a single flap. Their sharp eyes can spot a carcass lying exposed in the sun from miles away. As the sated hyenas begin to retreat into the bushes to find shade from the heat, the sky seems to fall. Dozens, then hundreds of vultures descend upon the battlefield like a black rain of death. The chaos reaches its peak as latecomers dive in to fight for every scrap of meat clinging to the skeleton. They thrust their featherless, bald necks deep into the carcass's chest cavity, an evolutionary trait to avoid harboring pathogens. These are nature's most superior and resilient digestive machines. The stomach acid of a vulture is incredibly high, capable of destroying even the most dangerous bacteria, like those causing anthrax or cholera. In less than an hour, the huge carcass, weighing over 440 pounds, has been picked clean. Everything vanishes as quickly as a cruel magic trick, leaving only a white skeleton bleaching under the equatorial sun. In human eyes, this might be a violent and gruesome spectacle. But for the struggling ecosystem of the Maasai Mara, it is a deliverance. This cleanup crew has perfectly fulfilled nature's great recycling mission. They clear away the seeds of disease before they can spread, keeping this land in its natural biological balance. In this brutal arena, death is never a meaningless end. It is the perfect beginning to nourish the endless cycle of life under the sun. The great journey of millions of hooves is finally halted by an unforgiving mortal boundary. The legendary Mara River appears under the harsh, vertical glare of the midday sun. Its murky water churns, carrying reddish-brown silt and cruel secrets. Beneath the placid surface that reflects the blinding light, an ancient nightmare lies in wait. The Nile crocodile. A perfect killing machine that seems unchanged since the age of the dinosaurs. This giant can reach over 16 feet in length and weigh a colossal 1,500 pounds. Its brilliant yellow eyes are the only part of it that breaks the surface, coldly observing the trembling riverbank. To keep its enormous body completely submerged and invisible in the murky water, nature has equipped it with a unique tactic. Deep within the monster's stomach are heavy stones it deliberately swallows, known as gastroliths. These stones act as a biological diving belt. They help the crocodile maintain perfect balance and counteract the natural buoyancy of its massive body fat. This allows it to lie patiently and motionlessly in the mud for hours, completely invisible to the thirsty creatures on the bank. The rough, horny scales on its back are as tough as steel armor, helping it to endure the scorching sun reflected off the water. The tyrant shows no impatience, makes no sound, releases no unnecessary bubble. It understands the ruthless law of the dry season. When tens of thousands of desperate wildebeest plunge into this fiery river to reach the other side, nature's bloodiest and most frenzied banquet will surely begin. The hesitation on the steep bank is finally broken. Thousands of wildebeest frantically plunge into the Mara River, creating a biological avalanche under the blinding midday sun. The sounds of bellows and churning water create a scene of breathtaking chaos. But just beneath the turbid waves, the killing machine has been activated. The Nile crocodile powerfully whips its muscular tail, launching itself from the muddy bottom like an invisible torpedo. The steel trap springs. Jaws with horrific, crushing force lock onto the leg of a young wildebeest. The power of the ancient predator is irresistible. The tyrant pulls back, using its entire massive weight to drag its prey deep into the water. And then it unleashes the reptile's most brutal attack, the death roll. The crocodile's entire body twists in a furious spiral, thwarting any last desperate attempt by the victim to surface for air. The water boils with reddish-brown foam, and then the tragedy is quickly swallowed by the murky depths. The Mara River returns to its cold silence. Just upstream, Tens of thousands of other wildebeest continue to trample over one another, plunging into the fiery current. Because in this arena, charging forward is the only chance to survive. As the bloody frenzy in the river concludes, the fiery savannah returns to its majestic, ancient rhythm. Through the wildly shimmering heat haze, colossal silhouettes slowly emerge. A herd of African elephants. Led by the oldest and wisest matriarch, they trudge across the cracked furnace. Elephants are not just giants struggling to survive under the harsh sun. They are the greatest ecosystem engineers nature has ever produced. With primal strength, they knock down dry trees, maintaining open spaces for the grasslands to continue to flourish. Deep at the bottom of evaporated waterholes, their powerful trunks patiently dig through the dry mud. They dig deep to find the last underground water sources buried beneath the earth. The elephant's individual acts of survival inadvertently become a priceless salvation, opening up water sources for countless other species to eke out an existence during the dry season. But even the most steadfast pillars of this savanna are bearing heavy pressures. On the great neck of the matriarch, a GPS tracking collar from the Mara Elephant Project is silently at work. It is a testament to the tireless effort to record their every move, to understand the threats, and to protect them from the ghost of poaching. Because now, the Maasai Mara faces enemies that are changing all the ancient rules. Climate change and the pressures of development. The rains no longer follow their patterns, turning droughts into a prolonged, cruel sentence. Meanwhile, the pressure from tourism continues to mount, where the noise from engines can shatter the fragile rhythm of wildlife. Long-term studies have revealed a serious decline among iconic populations. Familiar animals like the giraffe and the warthog have seen their numbers plummet in just a few decades. It is an ominous warning sign of the fading health of the entire biological web. More painfully, there are now fewer than 35 black rhinos recorded in the entire vast Maasai Mara. These rare creatures of prehistoric beauty are forced to exist under the strict protection of armed ranger teams. But amidst these silent, suffocating challenges, seeds of hope continue to be nurtured with persistence. The local Maasai community is no longer on the sidelines of this fight. Through land lease agreements, conservancies managed by the local communities themselves have become a strong shield. They provide safe refuge for more than 80% of the area's large animals. Ecotourism models are gradually being more tightly controlled, ensuring that the wildlife can be observed without being disturbed. Every step that humanity leaves on this planet creates an imprint, be it positive or negative. The choice is entirely in our hands. Because protecting the Maasai Mara is not just about conserving a primeval land. It is about protecting our own future. In a fleeting lapse of concentration, a zebra has entered the crosshairs of a killing machine. Three seconds to escape. But as the shadow of the lioness descends, all instinct is too late. Here, it is the lioness who leads the charge. While the male hangs back to protect, the lioness cedes the first bite to him, a reflection of the pride's strict social order. The lion is the only cat to live in a complex social group. Its members cooperate in the hunt, in defense, and in the raising of the young. The male's thick mane not only impresses the females, but also acts as a form of armor, shielding his neck and head during combat. A lion's roar can echo for up to 5 miles. It is both a declaration of territory and a way for members to locate one another in the dark. Young males are driven from the pride at around 2 to 3 years of age, forced to find or conquer a new territory of their own. Though it may seem merciless, this is a common survival strategy, ensuring that the genes of the dominant male are passed on. A lion's territory can span from 8 to over 150 square miles. The pride's male patrols its boundaries, marking them with scent and roaring to warn off intruders. During the dry season, grazers must drink often, concentrating around the few remaining water sources, which become, for the lions, a veritable feast. The dry season forces the lions to rely more on stamina than on speed. Although they can reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, they can maintain it for only a short burst, relying instead on group ambushes. Even as the rulers of the savannah, lions spend some 16 to 20 hours a day at rest, conserving their energy. However, lion populations are in decline across many regions due to the loss of their prey. It is a stark reminder of the fragile balance between predator and prey. In the grand panorama of the Serengeti, there is a predator whose very existence is synonymous with stealth, the Nile crocodile. When the great rains fall, the arid hollows along the Grumeti River are reborn as deep pools. For weeks on end, they can lie motionless, their bodies concealed in the murky water. Only their eyes and nostrils break the surface, transforming them into living traps, patiently awaiting their moment. The rainy season brings an abundance of water, drawing herbivores to quench their thirst and rest. Lurking near the waterholes, the Nile crocodiles make the most of this opportunity. With large prey, they will drag their victim underwater to drown it, then perform their infamous death roll to tear the carcass apart. One of their most astonishing traits is their tolerance for hunger. A mature crocodile can go for months without a meal. It is this ability that allows them to lie in ambush for weeks without any loss of strength. This patience is aided by a biological marvel, a four-chambered heart. Unlike most reptiles, they possess a special valve, the foramen of Panizza, which allows them to shunt blood away from the lungs when submerged. This enables them to hold their breath for over an hour, turning patience into a lethal biological weapon. While the water's surface shows barely a ripple, deep inland, a majestic, low rumble is heard the African bush elephant. Moving in herds, like living tanks, they crush the undergrowth with every powerful step. The elephant is never truly alone. At their side are companions like the cattle egret and the red-billed oxpecker, forming a unique symbiotic relationship. Their diet shifts with the seasons, from the lush new grass that makes up 70% of their intake to woody plants when the dry season arrives. Elephant families are led by a matriarch, a seasoned and experienced female. Their bodies are masterpieces of natural engineering. Enormous ears help to dissipate heat, and wrinkled skin retains moisture, but their true power lies in the versatile trunk. It can draw water to spray over their bodies for cooling, and dig deep into dry riverbeds to find underground springs, creating wells for many other species. Their connections extend far beyond what human ears can detect. Elephants communicate using infrasonic rumbles, low-frequency vibrations that travel through the ground for dozens of miles. These seismic calls allow herds to warn of danger or signal the way to water. As ecosystem engineers, elephants reshape the landscape, breaking branches and pushing over small trees, which clears the way for new vegetation to grow. They are also great sowers, dispersing seeds through their dung, enriching the soil and sustaining biodiversity. As dusk settles, the herd moves on, leaving behind a land they have remade. As the African elephants pass, leaving openings in the canopy, the Maasai giraffe steps quietly into view. They have no need to clear a path. Their height already grants them access to the highest foliage. This is the tallest giraffe subspecies and the tallest terrestrial animal on the planet. A fully grown adult can stand up to 19 feet tall, its neck accounting for nearly half that height. This unique body structure allows them to browse on treetops that few other herbivores can reach. However, this extraordinary height becomes a critical vulnerability when they need to bend down to drink. They must splay their forelegs wide or kneel, a perilous posture. In that moment, they become an easy target for predators like lions and leopards. To stay safe, they often choose wide, open drinking spots, drink quickly, and then immediately raise their heads to scan for threats. A notable social behavior during the rainy season is their tendency to form temporary, unstructured groups. A group may consist of individuals of all ages and sexes, gathering for short periods around browse-rich trees or water sources. Although there is no hierarchy, gathering in a group offers a strategic advantage. More eyes mean earlier detection of predators. Since 2019, the Maasai giraffe has been listed as an endangered species. In just 3 decades, their numbers have plummeted by roughly 50%. The primary causes include habitat loss, poaching for meat and body parts, and growing conflict with humans over land. On the acacia branches, recently stripped by the Maasai giraffes, a slight movement stirs the lower limbs. A vervet monkey swings from one branch to another, its sharp, intermittent calls echoing through the woodland. Small in stature but striking in appearance, the vervet monkey impresses with its silver-grey coat and black face. Its long tail provides perfect balance as it navigates the treetops. A unique feature of the adult male is a patch of pale blue skin on the abdomen, an important visual signal in social communication. These monkeys are true opportunists. During the rainy season, their diet is incredibly rich, from fruits and seeds to insects and young leaves. At the first sign of danger, such as the shadow of a leopard or the wing beat of a martial eagle, one of them will emit a piercing alarm call. What is astonishing is that they possess an extremely complex language of alarm. They use different calls for different types of predators. A bark might mean leopard, and the troop will climb to the highest treetops. A short cough could signify eagle, prompting the troop to look to the sky and seek cover. A chattering AA sound means snake, and the troop will stand on their hind legs to scan the ground. It is an intelligent and effective early warning system. As the echoes of the primate calls fade, a black-backed jackal moves across the forest floor with a quiet confidence. Its coat is a clever mix of silver grey, rust brown, and a bold black saddle running down its back. Its pointed ears and keen eyes act as a radar system. Weighing only 13 to 29 pounds, these jackals may seem small, but they are agile, intelligent, and exceedingly cunning. The black-backed jackal is a shrewd hunter, capable of hunting alone or in pairs. During the rainy season, when life flourishes, their menu becomes incredibly rich and varied. When the scent of a large carcass drifts on the humid air, their sharp sense of smell can detect it from over a mile away. They live in monogamous pairs. A mated pair may stay together for life, hunting and raising their young together. Black-backed jackals play a vital role in the woodland ecosystem. They are the silent cleaners, helping to decompose carcasses and control rodent populations. Once more, we turn our eyes to the sky, but this time it is a streak of vibrant, delicate color against the damp post-rain sky. The lilac-breasted roller spreads its wings like a living rainbow, adorned with shades of purple, green, blue, and a touch of pink on its breast. Though only about 14 inches long, this bird has an unmistakable, characteristic flight. As it soars, it often performs spectacular aerial acrobatics. These dives and twists in mid-air are not just an impressive hunting tactic, but also part of the courtship display during the breeding season. The damp weather after a rain draws insects out from their hiding places, and this is a golden time for the lilac-breasted roller. This bird does not gather in large flocks, but usually moves in pairs. They hold small territories, often centered around a tall cluster of trees near an open clearing. When the last of the rain dissolves into the valley, it sounds a silent bell, signaling the start of a great journey. there is no grand beginning. Only the steady, thundering rhythm of hooves crushing the young grass underfoot. The great migration to the west and towards the regions around the Grumeti and Mara rivers begins, with over 2 million individuals on the move. Along the way, the animals pass through acacia woodlands and riverine forests. These are distinctive ecological transition zones, offering shade, moisture, and patches of new grass. Pausing in the acacia groves, the wildebeest graze on fresh shoots growing in the shade, which are high in phosphorus and nitrogen, essential for nursing mothers and their calves. Leading the migration are the plains, zebras, the natural pioneers and sentinels. With their height and keen eyes, they guide the herds and are the first to spot danger. In this green and seemingly tranquil space, Nile crocodiles lurk at the water's edge. A constant fear whispered among the herds. As the animals bend to drink, the glare of the water narrows their vision, and that is when the trap is sprung. Many wildebeest die not in the jaws of a crocodile, but in the ensuing chaos, trampled by their own kind. Leopards, too, wait patiently, using the dense trees at the forest edge for cover. At this time, the woodland becomes a vital crossroads, a living corridor where species gather to drink, feed, and elude the hand of fate. But not all will make it through. The weak, the young, or those who fall behind often vanish without a trace, and no one turns back for them. Long after the herds have passed, the woodland retains its silent record. Claw marks, wells dug by elephants, and broken tree trunks. And now the ecosystem shifts once again into a harsher phase. The leaves turn yellow, and many of the smaller streams run dry, leaving behind a cracked earth. The air grows dry and hot. During this period, wildfires are common, sparked by a combination of dry grass, strong winds, and rainless lightning. But rather than being destructive, these fires serve a vital purpose, clearing old vegetation, enriching the soil, and stimulating dormant seeds to germinate. As the dry season grips the woodland, even after nightfall, the temperature remains above 77 degrees Fahrenheit. But for the leopard, this is the perfect time. A solitary figure, silent yet commanding. Unlike the lion, who roars to assert his presence, the leopard uses silence to draw opportunity to itself. Its coat is a subtle blend of pale gold and black rosettes, allowing it to merge with the dry grass and tree bark. Each rosette pattern is a unique fingerprint. No two leopards are exactly alike. But this is not just about beauty. It is optical camouflage. The irregular edges of the black spots break up its body outline perfectly in the dappled light of the woodland, turning the predator into a true phantom. But this time of year brings a new opportunity. The waterholes, where thirst brings everything together. At these drinking spots, small and medium-sized animals must come to drink, and the leopard can wait and anticipate. Its main activity begins after dark. To claim a throne, the internal competition among leopards is fierce. A male leopard may kill cubs that are not his own. During the dry season, when resources are scarce, this behavior increases, but the females are not helpless. They move nimbly and change their dens to protect their young. The leopard closes in on its prey like a ghost, so silent that its very breath becomes a weapon. With eyes that pierce the darkness, it dispatches its target before the victim can even register that death is upon it. Its incredible strength allows it to haul prey twice its body weight up into branches more than 30 feet high. The impala, graceful creatures with ears ever turned to every sound. In the dry season, when fresh grass is scarce, impala switch to browsing on leaves, shoots, and soft bark from low-lying trees. As the water sources shrink, the impala do not wander far. They are forced to concentrate around the last remaining pools. There, every step is a search for water and a watch for threats. The impala herd acts as a natural alarm system. They take turns on watch, ears pricked, eyes constantly scanning their surroundings. In these difficult times, the territorial male impalas defend their ground more fiercely. The battles for dominance become more intense. The impala has no claws, no thick hide like the buffalo. Their only weapons are speed and reflexes. An impala can leap up to 10 feet high and 33 feet forward in a single bound. Yet sometimes, even constant vigilance is not enough. The weaker, the younger, the careless, or those exhausted by thirst, are often the ones left behind. However, the leopard's feast does not end there. Hidden in the red dust of the woodland, another target often comes into its sights. On the golden grasslands of the Serengeti, the silhouette of a warthog appears. A wild pig with curved tusks, known for kneeling on its front legs to dig for roots and tubers. This posture allows them to forage beneath the surface, even in the hard-baked soil of the woodland. Unlike many animals that hide in burrows during the day, the warthog is primarily active when the sun is high. At night, the warthog sleeps or takes shelter in burrows. They often use abandoned aardvark dens as their overnight refuge. When threatened, the warthog does not flee alone. It immediately dashes for its burrow, head held low, digging deeper to escape the predator's reach. The warthog plays a significant role in the leopard's hunting strategy. Though smaller than antelope, their regular availability makes them an attractive target. Ironically, it is their habit of being active during the day that makes them more vulnerable. They sleep in their burrows at night, then emerge at dawn and dusk, the peak activity hours for a leopard. The Serengeti woodland is also home to other large species, even during the harsh dry season. The African buffalo moves in herds of dozens, sometimes hundreds. Under the dry heat, the buffalo herd is in no hurry. They are well accustomed to the lack of water, relying instead on long-term memory to move between grazing patches and the few remaining water points. The social structure of the Cape buffalo herd is highly organized. A large, experienced bull acts as the leader, guiding the group's movements and reactions. At midday, the entire herd stops under the rare shade, not just to rest, but also to regulate their body temperature. But it is not just the heat or hunger that threatens the buffalo. Predators like lions still lurk silently at the herd's edge. However, the herd's tight-knit structure remains its most effective shield. When one member is threatened, the entire herd reacts almost instantly. The mobbing behavior, a collective charge to repel a predator, is what makes many hunters back down. A full-grown buffalo can charge at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour with curved horns that carry the weight of sledgehammers. The African buffalo has relatively poor eyesight and hearing, relying primarily on its highly developed sense of smell to detect danger. This is why they often gather in large groups and maintain close proximity to one another, to compensate for their sensory limitations. Although they are herbivores, their diet is quite restricted, consisting mainly of dry grass. The dry season forces them to travel further to find enough food. The African buffalo also inspires fear in many other species. They are responsible for an estimated 200 human fatalities each year across Africa. That number surpasses most carnivores and even rivals lions and crocodiles. High above, while buffalo and impala struggle to protect their herds, another predator watches silently from a bare branch. It is the martial eagle, a powerful bird of prey with a wingspan of nearly 8.5 feet. This makes it the largest eagle in Africa. Its broad vision allows it to spot young monkeys or large birds moving in the canopy below. Once it has locked onto a target, it dives like an arrow, swift and precise. At this time of year, the hot winds often create rising air currents, which the martial eagle uses as highways in the sky. They can soar for hours, patrolling their hunting grounds without needing to flap their wings frequently. The presence of the martial eagle plays a crucial role in the woodland ecosystem. They help to control the populations of insectivorous birds and other smaller avian species. As the apex predator of the sky, the martial eagle helps to stabilize the ecosystem, much as the leopard does on the ground. However, their existence is increasingly fragile. The International Union for Conservation of Nature has listed the martial eagle as an endangered species since 2020. From the tranquil waters, millions of lesser flamingos gather, stretching across the lake like a vibrant pink carpet. The evolutionary history of the lesser flamingo spans millions of years, originating from ancestors that thrived in highly alkaline wetlands. Their long legs, reaching up to 5 feet, coupled with a light yet strong body, allow them to navigate soft mud and shallow waters with ease. Their distinctive curved beak, equipped with a sophisticated filtering mechanism, is an essential tool for harvesting algae and plankton. Here, they not only feed but also breed, completing an essential ecological cycle. The social nature of the lesser flamingo is indispensable to its survival. Large flocks, sometimes numbering up to 2 million individuals, provide protection against predators. Their feeding behavior is a remarkable example of nature's ingenuity. While holding their heads down in the water, their curved beaks filter algae and tiny organisms from the mineral-rich waters. The deeper pink coloration of the adults is a visual sign of health and readiness, playing a vital role in attracting a mate. As the woodlands thin out to the south and west, the central plains of the Serengeti emerge, an endless sea of grass stretching to the horizon. The terrain here is flat and vast, forming grasslands that seem to go on forever. This is a critical ecological transition zone within the Serengeti Plains system. The Central Plains are the ecological heart, a place where all migratory routes must pass and where some of Africa's most dynamic populations converge. As the curtain of the dry season falls upon the Serengeti Plains, a colossal current of life begins to move the blue wildebeest. They flow like a biological river of surging life. Their synchronized breeding strategy saturates predators with sheer numbers. Thousands of calves are born at almost the same time. This journey follows a path deeply ingrained in their instincts and collective memory. The herd operates with system and structure. Most are females and their young. During rest, the calves lie in the center, shielded by a wall of mothers. The blue wildebeest has a robust body, weighing from 330 to 550 pounds as an adult. Built for long-distance endurance, their bodies are energy efficient. To sustain this strength, a wildebeest consumes about 9 to 11 pounds of grass per day, preferring the young, soft shoots. The rainy season savannah becomes more alive than ever as the wildebeest lead the way. And right alongside them, the plains zebra moves in herds like a living wave of black and white. The zebra's diet consists mainly of grass, making up 96.9% of its food intake. They digest it quickly thanks to a simple digestive system. Zebras tend to eat the taller, coarser grasses on top, clearing the way for wildebeest to feed on the softer layers beneath. At the same time, the zebra serves as a visual shield for the group when danger approaches. Zebras live in small family groups, each led by a stallion with a few mares and their offspring. When these families gather into larger herds, their vigilance increases. The zebra's journey of survival is starkly defined by the long dry season. As water sources diminish, the herds rely on their spatial memory to navigate. When the sun sets, zebras sleep standing up. But there is always one individual awake on guard duty. Their survival instinct is built on connection and constant awareness. The rainy season comes alive as the Thompson's gazelle displays its full survival instincts. They take advantage of the low-growing new grasses left behind after the zebras have cleared the taller layers. With speeds reaching 50 to 55 miles per hour, the Thompson's gazelle turns every leap and sharp turn into a tool for survival. The Thompson's gazelle is primarily a grazer, with grass comprising 96.9% of its diet. During the dry season, they migrate far in search of food and water, following the cycles of rain and grass growth across the plains. Their stotting strategy, high, V-shaped jumps, is a way of challenging predators. It is a display of speed and vitality. During the breeding season, the young are born almost simultaneously to reduce pressure from predators. This phenomenon is known as synchronized birthing, a clever survival tactic. On the vast grasslands, blending in with the color of the dry grass, something flashes by like the wind. But if you look closely, you will notice the small spots on its body, and that can only be the cheetah. The cheetah is the fastest land animal. It can reach 70 miles per hour in just a few seconds, rivaling a Ferrari. This is thanks to a lightweight skeleton, a slender body, powerful hind legs, and a long tail that acts as a rudder for balance. However, to achieve that speed, the cheetah has made trade-offs. A small, narrow head reduces wind resistance. But weak jaws and short canine teeth mean it cannot hold on to prey for long or fight off larger predators. On the savannah, the cheetah selects young or solitary individuals. Such prey tends to be slower and easier to catch. First, the cheetah often climbs a low termite mound or a ridge to observe the wind direction and the movement of the gazelles. When the distance closes to between 200 and 330 feet, the cheetah launches into a sprint. The chase is usually very short, less than 1,000 feet, as its body quickly tires and overheats. The cheetah's hunting success rate is quite high, around 40 to 50% in the Serengeti when hunting Thompson's gazelles. Cheetahs are most active at dawn and dusk when the temperature is cooler and large predators, like lions or hyenas, are less active. However, cheetahs cannot climb like leopards because their claws are non-retractable. This helps them maintain grip while running, but it also prevents them from carrying their prey up a tree. As a result, the cheetah must eat its prey on the ground and cannot hide it. 12% of their kills are stolen by larger predators shortly after being taken down. Cheetahs have a very low reproductive rate, and the young are particularly vulnerable. In the wild, the mortality rate for cubs under 3 months old can be as high as 90%. In the fiery heart of Africa, where the sky seems to bleed into the earth, a river winds through the golden plains. This is the Maasai Mara. This legendary river not only nourishes the vast land, but is also the lifeblood for millions of wild souls. Each year, as the dry season arrives, the Mara becomes the stage for the greatest migration on the planet. Herds of wildebeest, zebra, and Thompson's gazelle must face the perilous crossing, where the jaws of crocodiles lie hidden, waiting coldly to extinguish a life. In that moment, all of nature seems to hold its breath. Life and death are separated by a single leap. Kenya is a place where nature does not simply exist. It lives vibrant, fierce, and full of spirit. Across the Great Plains, amongst the scrub and woodlands, life is in constant, restless motion. The Big Five, the five iconic species of the African continent, appear one by one, the protagonists in a drama of the wild. There is the African elephant, silent yet majestic. The rhinoceros, mysterious and rare. The Cape buffalo, stubborn and resilient. The leopard, as graceful as a phantom. And, of course, the lion, the uncrowned king of the savannah. Kenya is also home to thousands of species of birds, antelope, giraffes, hippos, cheetahs, and countless reptiles, each a unique note in the grand symphony of survival. Among them all, it is the lion that commands nature itself to fall silent with its roar. With its magnificent golden mane, its regal gait, and its powerful gaze, the lion is a living symbol of strength and authority. The Maasai Mara is Kenya's most famous reserve, where large prides of lions live in tightly organized social structures. Unlike the solitary image of other great cats, like the tiger or the leopard, the lion is a social animal. A dominant male, sometimes a coalition of brothers, leads a pride of related females and their young. These strong bonds, discipline, and clear roles create a collective as formidable as any tribe. The sun scorches the Kenyan savannah in the final days of the dry season, when the heat seems to crack the very earth. In this arid landscape, the Maasai Mara River, though nearly depleted, remains a vital destination for countless species. A mighty herd of Cape buffalo, hundreds strong, moves slowly toward the riverbank, where a few muddy pools remain. Their curved horns, like weapons of war, glint in the sun. They lower their heads to drink, their massive bodies heaving in the oppressive heat. The few females rest in the sparse shade, while the young, covered in mud, stay close to their mothers. The air seems peaceful, but on the savannah, everything can change in an instant. Not far away, beneath a dry acacia tree, tawny shapes lie motionless in the tall grass. A pride of lions, several adult females, and an old male are resting, but their eyes are fixed on the buffalo herd. They need no signal, no sound. A single glance and a subtle flick of a tail are enough for the pride to understand that an opportunity is approaching. The wind shifts, carrying the thick scent of sweat and the sound of hooves in the mud. A hunt, or rather, a battle, is about to begin. In a moment, the pride will explode into action, shattering the stillness, and attack the herd with all the power and instinct of millennia. Blood, mud, and dust will merge in an unforgiving dance of survival. After a breathtaking chase, the pride finally brings down its quarry. They begin to tear at the flesh, savoring a rare taste of freshness. It is a worthy reward for the victor after a life and death struggle. But even for a king, the throne is never permanent. In the world of lions, life is a series of relentless battles. Adult males constantly challenge one another for power, for control of the pride, and with it, the right to mate. These brutal fights can last for hours, ending in deep wounds or even death. When a new male deposes the ruler, he often kills all the cubs of the vanquished, forcing the females back into estrus, a harsh but necessary biological cycle for evolution. The golden sunlight does not just illuminate life, it exposes the purest instinct for survival. In the quiet of the early morning, unseen eyes are watching, waiting for the moment to strike. This is a world where beauty and death walk side by side, a symphony of life that never ceases. Zambesi, the wild heart of Zimbabwe. At dawn, on the majestic Zambesi River, a gentle movement, almost imperceptible. In the golden space, thousands of tiny particles swirl. A swarm of insects glitters in the first rays of sun. They seem woven from light, as if the river itself were exhaling sparks, a reminder of the breath of life hidden in every moment. Here, in the heart of the Zambesi National Park, nature lives by its own rhythm. The river, one of Africa's longest, rises in the far northwest, in Zambia, and flows for thousands of miles before plunging over the majestic falls of Victoria. The smoke that thunders, as the Kololo people call them. It is here, on a bend of this ancient artery, that a new day is beginning. Swarms of insects dance in the air. This is an invitation to life. Birds notice them. Fish snatch them. Frogs and spiders hide in the grass, waiting for them. This dance is part of the great cycle that connects the sky, the water, and the earth. On the bank, in the sparse shade of the trees, a herd of impala is grazing. Their slender bodies glisten a russet gold in the morning rays. Each of their movements is like a delicate brushstroke on the canvas of the savannah. They make almost no sound, but that silence is fragile. Behind their grace is a constant vigilance. The impala is one of southern Africa's most graceful antelopes. It can leap 30 feet in a single bound and soar up to 10 feet high, as if the very air lifts it from danger. These spectacular leaps are more than just a means of escape. This is not merely an expression of joy. It is a dialogue with death itself, a deliberate, defiant message sent to unseen eyes, declaring with each extraordinary jump, "I am vitality, I am speed." A chase would be futile. It is a gamble of energy, made to prevent a gamble of life. Their primary defense is movement, agile, coordinated, and effortless. Nearby, in the dry grass, dark spots flicker. It is the helmeted guinea fowl. Like small, medieval warriors, each one appears to be wearing a helmet, blue-black feathers, dark eyes, a red crest, and white spots on their bodies. Their gait seems comically hurried, but at the slightest rustle, the entire flock freezes instantly, turning to stone. The guinea fowl are the noisy sentinels of the savannah. Their shrill calls alert every creature around to approaching danger. Their role as sentinels goes beyond mere alarms. The guinea fowl are tireless guardians of the savannah, consuming vast quantities of insects and parasitic ticks that plague the large herbivores. This relationship is a perfect example of symbiosis. While the great beasts are cleansed of troublesome parasites, the guinea fowl gain an easy and safe meal. They are not just the alarm system, but the sanitation crew of the plains. Sometimes, they are the first to spot a leopard in the bush or the approach of an eagle. Among the branches, a giraffe stands tall, the silent traveler of the African savannah. Its head reaches 20 feet high, to a place no other grazer can touch. To serve this living watchtower, nature has engineered a miracle, a heart of immense power, an engine over 1.5 feet long that defies gravity with every beat. It is a masterpiece of plumbing, designed to solve a problem that would kill any other creature. How to nourish a brain that lives in the sky without overwhelming it when it bends to the ground. Its entire circulatory system is a marvel of bioengineering, designed to serve a unique body. It feeds on leaves from the treetops, where they are fresh and sun-drenched. In the Zambesi National Park, the giraffe feels confident. Their numbers are not large, but each individual looks like a living legend. The dark patches on its body, like the pattern of leaves, make it almost invisible among the branches and shadows. Its tongue, long and dexterous, can extend 18 inches. It carefully plucks the tender shoots from between the sharp thorns of the acacia. There is no hurry in it. It knows the tree will provide what it needs. The key is patience. Its gait is slow, swaying. It seems to be walking through time. It comes and goes without a sound, as if it were just part of a dream. On the branch of an old tree, hidden in the dim light of the canopy, is a hunter. The brown snake eagle. Its eyes are as sharp as daggers. It knows how to wait. It knows that the movement of the grass can mean more than a passing breeze. Feeding on snakes and other reptiles, this predator is not just a hunter. It is the balance, a symbol of the precision, patience, and power hidden in silence. And there, a baboon, intelligent, agile, always busy with something. It climbs the tree trunk with expertise, as if the tree were an extension of itself. In its world, there are no random movements. Every leap, every glance is calculated. At the top of a tall tree, above the green majesty of the savannah, a strange council is in session. Birds, like old sages in black robes, sit with their heads hunched into their shoulders, observing the world from above. This is the marabou stork. Their bodies seem heavy, almost clumsy. But once they take to the air, you no longer see a terrestrial wanderer, but a lord of the sky. A wingspan of up to 10 feet lifts them, as if the sky itself has lent a hand. The marabou stork is a scavenger. Its mission is to clean the traces of death in order to sustain life. They do not hunt, they do not chase. They arrive at the end. They are the janitors of the ecosystem. Nature has given them a job no one else can do. At the very top of the highest tree, where the leaves tremble against the clear blue sky, a figure is resting. This is not just a bird, it is an observer. Its plumage has been bleached by the sun, almost white. In its stillness, it resembles a dry branch, but with a single turn of its head, everything becomes clear. Before us is a predator, cautious, focused, and dangerous. It does not waste energy. The day has just begun, and a hunt lies ahead. From on high, it sees what is hidden from others. Every movement below is like a lightning flash to its eyes. While the ground is still warming under the sun, a flight is being prepared in the canopy. In the sky, there is only it and the wind. Its huge wings slowly cut through the air, catching the thermal currents rising from the ground. There is no haste, only precise calculation and a perfect mastery of space. Below is a vast, endless space. But directly beneath it is not just a river, it is Victoria, a waterfall before which time itself seems to slow. Here, the waters of the Zambesi, after gathering strength for thousands of miles, confront the abyss. On the water, on the slender dry branches, tiny figures are lined up. Their bodies are light, their movements almost a dance. These birds seem to be made of morning light. The green back, a slightly russet chest, and a characteristic white streak on the forehead, from which they get their name, the white-fronted bee-eater. They sit motionless, but it is only an appearance. A second later, one of them soars into the air, performs a skillful loop, and returns with a struggling prize in its beak. The diet of these birds consists of bees, wasps, hornets, and other stinging insects. Before swallowing their prey, they skillfully neutralize it by rubbing it against a branch, removing the venom and the stinger. This technique is honed to perfection. Bee-eaters live in colonies, sometimes numbering in the hundreds. Their nests are long, horizontal burrows dug into the sandy banks along the river. In the middle of the wide river, as if growing from the water itself, a great tree stands tall. Its roots are half submerged. Its trunk is curved, as if in a dance. Its branches hang over the water, and its foliage is lush, green, and full of life. It has now become an island, a sanctuary. On its slender, curved branches, as on a balcony, herons have settled. Some of them are preening after a fishing trip. Others stand completely still, observing the mirror-like surface of the water. The heron is a bird of silence. It does not cry out without cause. It simply exists, like the tree, like the river. And this scene is not just beautiful, it is balance. Where the land ends and nature begins, there is always a point of peace. Right at the water's edge, a gentle rustle is heard. It is the red-billed quelea. They are numerous. They arrive in flocks, never alone. Each bird quickly takes its place. They are all in motion, busy, as if the water is calling and the time to drink is limited. They drink with a calculated urgency. The whole flock descends like a whirlwind, landing quickly right at the water's edge. For just a brief moment, they hastily sip water and then immediately take off, creating a scene of organized chaos. Not a second of rest, everything is calculated. Fly down, touch the water, fly up. This is caution honed into a reflex. In Africa, even the smallest creature knows the value of attention. Amidst the bushes and dry grass, where the thickets glow golden in the morning sun, a figure slowly emerges. The African buffalo, immense, as if carved from rock. It walks heavily, but calmly. In its eyes is harshness. In its gait is confidence. This is not a fugitive, not a hunter. This is the master of the plains. Its horns curve like a crescent moon. Its coat is as dark as a rainy night. Not far away, among the thickets, a giraffe stretches. It moves almost without a sound, as if not walking on the ground, but gliding over it. Its neck reaches the canopy, where other species cannot. It nibbles on the fresh leaves with the care of a master. And higher still, at the top of the tree, where only the sky offers a choice, the great white pelicans have landed. Their wide beaks seem made for another world. They are reminiscent of ancient creatures. This morning savannah is like a grand theater. Each species has its own stage, its own role. The buffalo walks below, marking the path. The giraffe reaches up, connecting earth and sky, and the birds watch from above. And it is all just a moment in the space called Zambesi. At the top of the palm trees, towering over the Zambesi River valley, a whole flock of great white pelicans has landed. Their large silhouettes look particularly striking against the fan-shaped palm leaves, illuminated by the soft afternoon light. These palms are likely of the species Hyphaean petersiana, a palm characteristic of the wetlands of southern Africa. The pelicans sit solidly and calmly, as if guarding their kingdom from above. Some are sleeping, their wings spread. Others have tucked their beaks into their feathers, preparing for sleep. Trees like this are not just observation posts, but also safe havens from terrestrial predators. On the arid plains, a soft golden light spreads. The sun is no longer as harsh as at midday, but it still shines generously on the scorched grass, the copper-colored leaves of the bushes, and the backs of the animals. The water still carries within it the power, the light, and the breath of the living world. A pelican slowly takes flight from the top of the palm tree, its broad wings touching the sky. The last rays of sun gild the manes of the zebras and the foreheads of the buffalo. The night descends without haste, but unstoppably. It brings with it the stars, the silence, and the deep breath of the savannah. And above all, the sense of an ancient order, where every creature has its place, its voice, and its destiny. Zimbabwe, Zambesi, the wild speaks for itself here.